And we're back. Today's reflection is on freedom, which, as timeless philosophy says, is the goal we're all pursuing. That career you're chasing after, what you really want is freedom. Financial milestone, freedom. It's going to give you this orientation, this mooring that allow you to pursue life with freedom because you feel like you're kind of floating, which is so ironic. You think that one more thing you get, it's going to be the last thing you need, and then you're all done. And then you got 10,000 more desires. I am in the same boat. I'm not above it all, but I do want to at least impart. It's helpful to reflect on whether that last thing that was supposed to be the last thing you needed before you were complete, full, paripurna, as they say in Sanskrit and Vedanta, completely satisfied. Did it provide that satisfaction? Or is it like the 10-headed hydra, chop off a head and 2 more grow? Today's episode is on not just what we all really want and are chasing all of these symbols or symbols of what we want, but what we really want deep down, freedom. But it's also on how we get there, and it's not what you'd think. So many of us chase with formlessness. We think that vacation, sitting at the beach doing nothing, sleeping in, not working out, eating whatever we want, drinking whatever we want, we think that that's freedom. But if it's a ticking time bomb to constraint, you're out of a job if you go to the beach for too long, can't pay your bills, you have a terrible hangover the next day, elevated anxiety from every drink you had last night, you have a missed calendar event because you slept in that leads to a loss of trust with you as a coworker or as a friend. We think that we get to formlessness through formlessness. But what Vedanta tells us is actually quite paradoxical. It's through form that we get to formlessness. You want to be able to use your body in nearly infinite capable ways? It's through the form of building the body, developing the muscles, of hitting the gym, of not doing whatever you want, chilling on the couch, because that leads to inevitable constraint, the inability to use your body as it is intended. We get to formlessness, to capability, to infinite capacity through form. You get to a peaceful, stress-free, effortless life through a regimented daily reflection each morning where in the beginning it feels like this is really hard. This is really foreign to me. It's really not natural to wake up this early for me. And then within 10, 11, 12 days, it's like a best friend. We're like, oh man, today's going to be a tough day because I didn't get that time in the morning. Today's going to be a constrained, a limited day in terms of what I'm going to be able to bring to it because I didn't have that morning reflection time. And another way we could say it is liberation through deliberation. And anyone that knows and gets into that flow state with their work, that feels the capability of their bodies, it's an old Socratic quote, how shameful it is for a man to get to the end of his life never realizing the potential of the human body. It is empowering, doesn't even touch on how great it is to see what your body's capable of when you apply yourself to developing it. But from one lens, it looks like it's constraint. It's getting to the gym in a regimented way. It's deliberation. And yet, on the other side, is sustainable liberation. Generates more and more energy over time instead of pursuing liberation in a way that actually dissipates energy over time. Liberation through deliberation. Henry David Thoreau once said, I went to the woods to live deliberately. He also studied the Bhagavad Gita daily and wrote about that frequently, but that quote is so great. That's just, Joseph, one of my teachers, will talk about this quite often. I went to the woods to live deliberately. It's in our other podcast, Yoga for Your Intellect, where we talk about this at length. in an episode called Liberation through Deliberation. The full quote is this: "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation, unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life." You'd think that would be through a sensualist approach of just going to every party in Boston, going to every social gala, and that's the way to suck out the marrow of life. That's actually walking around with a blindfold on, doing what everybody is doing versus going out, venturing in parts unknown, to live deliberately and to die without the discovery that you had never truly lived. Liberation through deliberation. Formlessness through form. That's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.